Welcome the rare gems. Some people hear with their ears, others hear with their soul. A Sigma female doesn't just exist, she perceives. She moves through life with an awareness that most people don't have, sensing what's hidden, questioning what others accept, and seeing patterns long before they play out. Her gifts are not loud or flashy, but they are undeniable. She doesn't need validation to trust her instincts. She doesn't follow trends or seek approval, because she knows that the loudest voices are rarely the wisest. Instead, she walks her own path, one that is guided by a deep, almost supernatural understanding of people, energy, and reality itself. Some may call her distant, mysterious, or even intimidating. In truth, she's simply unmoved by the illusions that control most people. Where others get lost in distractions, she sees the underlying truth. Where others struggle with loneliness, she turns solitude into strength. Where others seek external guidance, she finds answers within herself. This is not something she learned. It's something she was born with. But having these gifts isn't always easy. They set her apart. They make her misunderstood. And sometimes, they make her a target. That's why it's crucial for Sigma females to recognize, embrace, and refine these abilities, not suppress them. Because the world needs more people who see clearly. And if you are a Sigma female, that person is you. Stay tuned, because in this video we're unlocking the spiritual gifts you've always had, but may have never fully realized. Number 1. The sixth sense for hidden agendas. Most people listen to words. Sigma females listen to everything else. The pauses between sentences, the forced enthusiasm, the subtle hesitation before a lie, the shift in energy when someone is hiding something. She doesn't need proof to know when something is off. She feels it. This isn't just intuition. It's pattern recognition at its finest. Over time, she's trained herself to notice the tiny inconsistencies that others overlook. The sudden change in someone's behavior. The way their story shifts slightly each time they tell it. The way they act overly nice when they're about to ask for something. She doesn't just hear what people say. She hears what they're trying not to say. And here's where it gets powerful. By the time someone thinks they're playing her, she's already played out the entire game in her mind. She doesn't need to call them out. She doesn't need to expose them. She simply adjusts. She distances herself. She watches as they unknowingly reveal everything she already knew. This ability makes her both intriguing and intimidating. People don't know how much she knows, and that unsettles them. Manipulators hate it because their usual tricks don't work. They sense that she's not easily fooled, and it makes them nervous. Honest people, on the other hand, love it, because she can sense their sincerity just as easily as she detects deception. Some call it paranoia, some call it overthinking, but time and time again, she's been proven right. She's caught lies before they could do damage. She's avoided people who turned out to be dangerous. She's walked away from situations others later regretted staying in. The world runs on hidden agendas. Most people don't see them until it's too late. But a Sigma female, she sees them before they even begin. And that's why she's always 3 steps ahead. Number 2, a psychic-level pattern recognition skill. Some call it intuition. Others call it luck. But for a Sigma female, it's neither. It's pattern recognition. While most people stumble through life reacting to things as they happen, she sees the cycles before they even begin. She notices everything. The way someone's tone shifts when they're hiding something. The way history keeps repeating itself because people refuse to learn. The way personal habits, no matter how small, shape someone's entire future. While others dismiss details as random, she connects the dots. And once she sees a pattern, she can predict its outcome with terrifying accuracy. This is why she rarely makes the same mistake twice. She doesn't need to get burned over and over to learn a lesson. One betrayal is enough. One failure is enough. She doesn't just remember what happened. She dissects it, studying the mechanics of how things fell apart so she can see the warning signs long before they appear again. And when she warns people, they rarely listen. They call her paranoid. They think she's over-analyzing. But when things unfold exactly as she predicted, they come back with wide eyes asking, "How did you know?" She knew because she pays attention. She sees the silent build-up before disaster. She recognizes the unspoken tension before relationships crumble. She senses when someone's promises don't match their actions. It's not magic, it's awareness. This ability makes her nearly impossible to manipulate. Liars rely on people forgetting details, but she catalogs them. Fakes rely on people ignoring inconsistencies, but she catches them. She can read a situation and see how it will play out before anyone else even realizes there's a game being played. And that's what makes her truly unstoppable. Because in a world where most people are sleepwalking, she's wide awake, watching, analyzing, and staying 10 steps ahead. Number 3. An aura of mystery that triggers revelations in others. There's something about a Sigma female that makes people talk. Not just casual small talk, but deep, unfiltered confessions. Strangers spill their darkest regrets. Friends reveal secrets they've never told anyone. Even manipulators, who usually guard their words carefully, find themselves slipping up around her. And the craziest part, she doesn't even ask. It's not because she's overly friendly or prying. In fact, it's the opposite. She's detached. She doesn't push, probe, or force anyone to share. But that very detachment makes her safe. She's not there to judge, gossip, or use what she hears for personal gain, and people feel that. Most people are so used to others interrupting, waiting to talk, or reacting emotionally to their words. But a Sigma female listens differently. She doesn't rush to fill the silence. She doesn't try to steer the conversation. She simply lets people be, and in that space, they unravel. It's not just her listening skills, it's her energy. There's an almost hypnotic pull in her presence, an air of mystery that makes people want to explain themselves. They feel the need to justify their actions, to prove they're understood, to seek her unspoken approval, even if she never asked for it. And then comes the moment of realization. People walk away from a conversation with her and suddenly think, why did I just say all that? They weren't planning to spill their secrets, yet somehow they did. She doesn't react much to these confessions. She doesn't need to. She files them away, not for gossip, not for manipulation, but for understanding. Because while they're revealing themselves to her, she's learning exactly who they are, without giving away anything in return. And that's what makes her dangerous in the eyes of some. She sees through people without trying, collects truths without asking, and leaves others wondering why they ever let their guard down in the first place. Number 4. A natural barrier against groupthink. Most people don't even realize when they've been swept up by the crowd. They think their beliefs, opinions, and emotions are their own, when in reality, they've been absorbing them from the people around them. Trends dictate their values. Social pressure shapes their decisions. The need for belonging keeps them in line. A Sigma female? Immune. She has a natural resistance to the invisible forces that pull most people into collective hysteria. It's not stubbornness, and it's not rebellion for the sake of it. It's detachment. She doesn't unconsciously absorb group emotions, nor does she feel the instinctual pull to belong at any cost. This gives her a massive advantage. While everyone else is reacting, conforming, and repeating the same narratives, she's seeing through it all. It's why she doesn't fall for mass manipulation. When fear spreads, she stays calm. When trends push people to act mindlessly, she steps back and asks, who benefits from this? When a group demands blind agreement, she looks at the contradictions they refuse to acknowledge. This clarity makes her dangerous to those who need the herd to stay asleep. Governments, corporations, media, and even social circles rely on people following without questioning. But a Sigma female questions everything. She notices when people's emotions are being weaponized. She sees when popular opinion is being manufactured rather than formed naturally. And this makes her nearly impossible to control. You can't guilt her into going along with something that doesn't make sense. You can't scare her into compliance. You can't shame her into silence. She's not looking for approval, not trying to fit in, and not afraid to stand alone. While others get caught up in illusions, she watches from a distance, detached yet completely aware. And when the truth finally reveals itself, long after the crowd has been deceived, she'll be exactly where she always was, on the outside, untouched, and right all along. Number 5. A capacity to channel pure truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Most people tiptoe around the truth, dressing it up to make it easier to swallow. They dilute their words, soften the edges, and leave just enough room for people to stay comfortable in their illusions. A Sigma female? She doesn't play that game. She delivers truth in its rawest form, sharp, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. She doesn't sugarcoat, she doesn't pacify, and she definitely doesn't lie just to keep the peace. If something needs to be said, she says it, and not just in words. Her presence alone makes people confront realities they've been avoiding. This is why she is both admired and feared. Some people respect her for it. They know they'll always get honesty from her, even when it's uncomfortable. Others, however, can't handle it. They take offense, resist, or even lash out, because deep down they know she's right. She doesn't speak to hurt people, but she won't protect their delusions either. When she calls something out, it's not based on emotion or opinion. It's based on pure, undeniable clarity. And that's what makes her words hit harder. She sees what others ignore, and when she puts it into words, it's like holding up a mirror that people can't look away from. Some run from her because of this. They prefer environments where lies are more polite and illusions feel safer. But those who value truth, they are drawn to her like a compass to the north. They know that in a world full of deception, her honesty is a rare and powerful force. She doesn't demand people listen. She doesn't force her truth on anyone. She simply speaks, and whether people accept it or not, they can't unhear it. That's the power of a Sigma female. Once she reveals a truth, it stays with you forever. Number 6. A resistance to addictions that control most people. Most people are slaves to their impulses, even if they don't realize it. The world is filled with invisible traps, social media designed to hijack attention, validation loops that keep people chasing approval, substances that offer temporary escape but long-term dependency. A Sigma female, she sees through it all. While others get pulled into endless cycles of scrolling, seeking, and consuming, she remains in control. She doesn't let external forces dictate her mind, emotions, or time. Her ability to self-regulate is almost supernatural in a world built to keep people addicted. It's not that she doesn't feel temptation. She does. But she has a built-in filter that asks, is this serving me, or is it controlling me? If something starts to own her focus, her energy, or her peace, she instinctively pulls away. Unlike most, she doesn't need a rock-bottom moment to wake up. Her awareness prevents her from falling into the trap in the first place. This is why you won't see a Sigma female desperately chasing likes, drowning in distractions, or numbing herself with mindless entertainment. She chooses what she engages with, instead of being dragged into things unconsciously. If she uses social media, it's on her terms. If she enjoys something, it's because she wants to, not because she's programmed to crave it. This kind of self-mastery makes her nearly impossible to manipulate. Most people are controlled through their addictions by corporations, social structures, even relationships. But you can't control someone who isn't addicted to anything outside of herself. And that is what makes a Sigma female dangerous to a world that profits from weak minds. She stands as living proof that you don't have to be a prisoner to external validation, distractions, or empty pleasures. She owns herself, fully, completely, and without compromise. Number 7. The capacity to withstand isolation without losing sanity. Most people fear loneliness like it's a sickness. They fill the silence with noise, surround themselves with people they don't even like, and distract themselves just to avoid being alone with their own thoughts. A Sigma female? She thrives in solitude. Being alone doesn't weaken her, it sharpens her. While others crumble without constant social validation, she transmutes solitude into clarity. Her mind doesn't decay in isolation, it expands. In the silence, she sees things others miss. She connects dots, reflects deeply, and gains insights that are out of reach for those who are too busy chasing distractions. This isn't about being antisocial. She's not avoiding people. She's choosing to be selective. She values her energy too much to waste it on shallow connections or empty conversations. Most people spend their entire lives running from themselves. She sits with herself, listens, and evolves. This ability makes her nearly indestructible. When life pulls people away, when social circles collapse, when the world forces her into solitude, she doesn't break. She builds, she studies, she strategizes, she turns her solitude into power while others spiral into self-pity. This is why she's dangerous in the best way possible. People who depend on external validation are easy to manipulate. Sigma females are not. You can't control someone who doesn't need the crowd. You can't pressure someone who doesn't crave acceptance. She moves through life with a rare kind of freedom, the kind that comes from knowing that whether she stands alone or in a room full of people, she is complete. And that's what truly unsettles the world. Because in a society that thrives on distraction, dependence, and approval, a woman who can sit alone in absolute peace is a woman who cannot be broken. Number 8. The ability to see the unwritten in people. Most people listen to words. A Sigma female listens to everything else. She notices the hesitation in someone's voice, the flicker of doubt in their eyes, the slight tension in their jaw when they say they're fine. She doesn't just read body language. She reads energy. This isn't some vague intuition, it's a finely tuned awareness. When she walks into a room, she instantly feels the energy shift. She can tell who's genuinely happy and who's forcing a smile. She can sense when someone is holding back tears, even when they laugh the loudest. She picks up on deception before a single lie is spoken. It's not about suspicion, it's about patterns. And after years of observing people, she's mastered the ability to recognize them before others even realize they exist. But here's where it gets even deeper. She doesn't just sense problems, she senses potential. She can see the brilliance in someone long before they believe in themselves. She recognizes hidden strengths, buried talents, and untapped power in those around her. Sometimes she'll encourage it. Other times she'll watch from a distance, waiting to see if they rise to their own greatness or waste it. This ability makes her both deeply compassionate and dangerously perceptive. People often feel seen around her, sometimes in ways that make them uncomfortable. They can't hide behind masks or fake confidence because she knows when it's an act. This is why manipulators fear her. She may not call them out immediately, but she registers everything, storing details for later. And when the time comes, she'll act, not with words, but with quiet, strategic detachment. Some say she's too observant, too intense. But the truth is, her gift is rare. She sees what's unwritten, and in a world full of illusions, that's the kind of vision that changes everything. Number 9. The power to absorb information without effort. For most people, learning takes effort, repetition, practice, and focus. For a Sigma female, it's different. Knowledge doesn't just enter her mind, it sticks. She absorbs information the way a sponge absorbs water, effortlessly picking up details, patterns, and hidden connections without even trying. This isn't just about book smarts. Sure, she can read something once and remember it for years. But her real power lies in how she processes information. She doesn't just memorize facts. She instinctively sees how they fit together, how they connect to the bigger picture. She can watch a situation unfold and instantly recognize patterns that others miss. She can hear a conversation and pick up on the real meaning hidden between the words. This ability makes her terrifyingly insightful, even in subjects she's never formally studied. Drop her into a new environment and she'll decode it within minutes. Give her a problem she's never encountered and she'll instinctively find a solution. Let her listen to someone speak and she'll understand more about them than they intended to reveal. People often ask, how did you know that? The truth is, she didn't try to know it. She just noticed. She felt the energy behind the words. She saw the hidden connections. She recognized the familiar patterns from past experiences. This is why she's hard to manipulate. She picks up on inconsistencies in people's stories without even looking for them. This is why she's always one step ahead. She doesn't just see the surface. She absorbs the truth beneath it. Some might call it intuition. Others might say it's just sharp observation. But whatever it is, it gives her an almost supernatural advantage. While the world struggles to keep up, she's already miles ahead, processing everything before anyone else even realizes what's happening. Number 10. The ability to learn from every wound instead of becoming bitter. Most people see pain as something to avoid. A Sigma female sees it as a teacher. She doesn't run from heartbreak, betrayal, or disappointment. She studies them, not to dwell on them, not to wallow in self-pity, but to understand exactly what went wrong and make sure it never happens again. Every wound leaves a scar, but for her, Scars aren't signs of weakness. They're maps, each one marking a lesson learned, a mistake she won't repeat, a red flag she'll never ignore again. She's not the type to sit around complaining about how unfair life is. She won't let past pain turn her into someone bitter, resentful, or closed off. Instead, she refines her instincts, sharpens her awareness, and becomes even more resilient. When someone betrays her trust, she doesn't waste time plotting revenge. She simply remembers. The way they moved differently before they lied. The way their words didn't quite match their energy. The way they suddenly acted overly friendly before stabbing her in the back. She catalogs these details, so the next time she encounters someone with the same patterns, she'll see them coming before they can strike. People often mistake her strength for coldness. They assume she doesn't feel pain just because she doesn't break down, but she does feel it, deeply. She just refuses to let it define her. She knows that bitterness is a trap. It keeps you stuck in the past, replaying old wounds instead of moving forward. And a Sigma female, she's always moving forward. Her mindset is simple. If life is going to hurt her, it better teach her something in return. And once she learns that lesson, she never has to learn it again. Because fooling her once is easy. Fooling her twice? Impossible. Number 11, a spiritual resistance to herd mentality. Most people crave belonging. They follow trends without question, repeat popular opinions without thinking, and go along with the crowd just to feel safe. A Sigma female? She was built differently. The pressure to conform doesn't work on her. It never has. It's not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. She doesn't reject ideas just to be difficult. Her spiritual gift is discernment, the ability to filter through the noise, separate fact from fiction, and recognize when the world is being led by fear, manipulation, or blind obedience. Trends come and go. Hype dies down. Mass hysteria fades. And while everyone else is caught up in the moment, she's already thinking 10 steps ahead, questioning everything. Who benefits from this? What's the real agenda? Why is everyone suddenly thinking the same way? Most people don't stop to ask these questions. She does. This ability unsettles people. Society doesn't like those who think for themselves. It wants easy followers, not independent minds. That's why she's often labeled difficult or cold, but that's just what people say when they can't control you. The truth is, her resistance to herd mentality protects her. It keeps her from falling for scams, fake gurus, and mass deception. It keeps her from making decisions based on pressure rather than logic. It allows her to live life on her terms, instead of being swept away by the chaos of others. She doesn't need a group to validate her choices. She doesn't need society to tell her what's right. She listens to something deeper, her own intuition, her own logic, her own spiritual wisdom. And while the world panics, follows, and obeys, she stands firm, unshaken. Because when the dust settles and the illusion fades, she'll still be standing, exactly where she was meant to be. The truth about your spiritual gifts as a Sigma female. The world may not always understand you. It may try to force you into labels that don't fit, pressure you to conform, or make you feel like your instincts, perceptions, and insights are too much. But let's be clear. Your gifts are not a flaw. They are your power. You were not meant to think like everyone else. You were not built to follow blindly, to ignore your intuition, or to quiet your wisdom just to make others comfortable. Your ability to see through deception, resist manipulation, and sense what's hidden is something most people wish they had. And while others are trapped in illusions, you walk in truth. That comes with a cost. Not everyone will appreciate your clarity. Some will fear it, others will resent it. And many will try to convince you that being different means being wrong. It doesn't. Your mind, your instincts, and your way of seeing are rare. They are gifts that protect you, guide you, and allow you to move through life with an awareness that most people will never access. You're not lost, confused, or detached. You are awake. You were not built to be controlled. You were built to be free. So don't dim yourself to fit in. Don't second-guess what you know to be true. And most importantly, never underestimate what you are capable of. Because you are not just another person in the crowd. You are a Sigma female. And the world has no idea how powerful that truly is. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.